So, by this policy, we will not be able to find our way anymore. What does he mean by that? So, several authors, Hemingway, Sassoon, Owen, or Marx era, reflect the mantra of the lost generation. The carnage of the First World War was staggering. Germany lost over 7 million people. Now, what does Paul learn from his interactions with the Russian prisoners in All Quiet on the Western Front? After returning from a leave during which he went home and felt his alienation from his old life, Paul Baumer is sent to a training camp. There he has to learn to detach himself. So it is bearable if. So where is a quote? I am young, I am 20 years old, yet I know nothing of life but despair, death, fear, and. All Quiet on the Western Front is an anti-war book. So it is against the war. It speaks up about the soldiers' trauma and how we should not have war at any cost, and there should be peace peace treaties made to prevent such future wars. So in this quote you will see near the end of the novel, it sums up the problem with warfare. The lines are spoken by Paul Baumer, who is the novel's narrator and protagonist. If you have to compare All Quiet on the Western Front to another more book by, like say, Soldier's Home by Ernest Hemingway, what would be the similarities and the dissimilarities? One point of convergence between both works is a fundamental challenge of the romantic conception of war. When Krebs returns to his Oklahoma town, he is forced to have to address a desire. And how can the reader describe the theme of loss of innocence? You can of course complete the questions and the answers to the questions. I have just given the gist of it in the beginning. How can the reader, it can be done from your perspective. How can the reader describe the theme of loss of innocence in All Quiet on the Western Front? Eric Remarque's semi-autobiographical novel points to the sharp contrast between the rhetoric of war and the reality of it. So, sent off to war by the idealistic schoolmaster Cantorek, Paul Baumer, so he has to go ahead and do it even though he may not want to. In All Quiet on the Western Front, what does Kat's resourcefulness show? Kat seems resourceful. So what does it show about it? The narrator says that Kat Slingsky has a sixth sense. He calls himself the smartest man he knows. He cites the example of one night when the company has landed in some entirely unknown spot. An alternate ending for All Quiet on the Western Front? Any ideas about that? So if you need to do a project on this, what would you say? Supposing Paul is going to die, you could change the way he dies. Does he die a senseless death, or does he go out in a blaze of glory? So I've always been saddened when soldiers come home and die in some car accident or something. They are not meant to die like that, are they?